In today's video, we're going to be diving straight back into some more of the first Berserker Khazan, and for this one we're going to be going over the top 3 most powerful dual wield sets that you should be grabbing hold of when you're playing through your game. That first one we're going to be taking a look at is going to be this absolutely awesome looking set right here, and that's the Beast Slayer. As you start equipping the pieces on this, you're going to get frontal assault damage, extra stamina damage on your blowback vengeance, a whole bunch of extra whirlwind damage, so if you like playing whirlwind, this set is absolutely amazing for you, and then finally you're also going to get whirlwind tempest, which can really help you out against those larger enemies. Now as you start progressing through the game and you start to get the epic and above items, they're going to have fixed stats on them. The Beast Slayer dual wield is going to come standard with Phantom Shadow Sword Dance. The Beast Slayer headband is going to give you extra attack and spirit accumulation when enemies are exhausted. The chest will give you extra frontal assault stamina damage. The arms will enhance your whirlwind damage even more by 5%. The legs will give you even more frontal assault stamina damage. And finally the boots are going to give you even more damage increase to your whirlwind attack. Remember, with pretty much all of your dual wield sets, you're going to want to make sure you use Phantom Sword Dance, as this is just going to help you out with damage and just destroying enemies very fast, as now you're going to have a Phantom come alongside you and attack them whenever you're using your chosen light attack skills. If you're using this set, it's definitely going to be Whirlwind, and it's really going to be enhanced by that, doing a lot of additional damage and taking enemies down very fast. However, this set also gives you Phantom Shadow Sword Dance, and now whenever you're performing a Brink Guard, it's also going to help you to get a little bit of extra damage because the Phantom's going to be released and it will hit them every single time you do this perfectly. Honestly, you tackle enemies that are large, you tackle enemies that are small, this set works out perfect. Speaking on the larger side of the enemies, whenever you are against the toughest enemies and some of the biggest bosses in the game, one of the new unlocked skills you'll be able to rely on is going to be Whirlwind Tempest. This thing is really cool and works hand in hand with your whirlwind, but now when you go into whirlwind, when you're on that upward skill move, you're just going to keep hold on to whatever button it is that you used. For me it was holding the Y button, and then it's going to activate Whirlwind Tempest, and on the largest foes it's going to go into a special move that does a kind of shadow downwards thrust, hits them, staggers them a little bit from what I can tell, and then allows you to get a little bit of extra damage. This can be used over and over again on some enemies, but you do have to be mindful of the ones that move away, because you don't want to be wasting your spirit on something that's not going to be hit. Another thing you should know about this set, it also has blowback vengeance. Now whenever you're doing your kind of attack after you've got a perfect parry, it's going to knock off a bit of additional stamina to them, and even though it's not the flashiest thing in the world, it really helps this set to come together, and is great for anyone who uses perfect parry a lot, because you'll be able to follow up with another additional attack that will damage them as well as damage a lot of their stamina. One thing I did notice when I was using this set though is that if the enemy is actually down on the ground on their back, it doesn't perform the actual Whirlwind Tempest, so don't worry about wasting your time pressing it whenever they are, but if they are standing up, using it on the larger foes always works out amazing. And I would say it works very well with Phantoms that you can unlock. I'd probably pick something like Maximilian the Impenetrable, as he's really going to help you out with both your stamina and depleting their stamina, and of course whenever you get a perfect Brink Guard, which you'll be doing quite a bit with this set, you'll also get 150 stamina replenished. Over to an absolute hidden gem of an armor set. This one looks very gladiator style themed to me, and that's going to be the Butcher set. It's just going to give you swift attack extra damage on your chain attacks, so whenever you're using a lot of additional light attacks together, you're going to get a lot of damage that way, more swift attack damage, and for the 5th and 6th, it's going to enhance your skill moves, your flash cutter damage is going to go up, as well as your hand and blade damage going up. Now when you get pieces of gear to epic or above, the prefixes you're going to get set on them. For your weapon, it's going to be Flash Cutter Shift, which means you'll get a little bit of extra spirit back whenever you're defeating enemies with your Flash Cutter. Then for the helmet, you're going to get a bit of additional spirit increase accumulation. For the chest piece, you're going to have swift attack damage increase. The arms are going to give you a little bit more spirit accumulation. The legs are going to give swift attack stamina damage. And then finally, the boots are going to give you even more spirit accumulation again. Now this set is absolutely amazing for anyone who prefers using Hammer and Blade as their light attacks over the Whirlwind, and honestly I found it can be really good if you're just going in, trying to do a few attacks and then make your way back out of the situation. Of course against this test dummy nothing's going to look that flashy, it hasn't got any crazy effects going on like in some of the other sets, but using Hand and Blade it does a lot of damage, and if we go into a kind of tougher boss fight, I'm going to show you exactly why I think this set's really underrated. As with all of these sets, make sure you put on Phantom Sword Dance. This is just really good and something you need to have as a staple, and of course you'll also be using your Hand and Blade very often with this. But the creme de la creme with this set is something that I just didn't realise how powerful one skill is, and that's going to be your Flash Cutter. Keep taking it down until its stamina bar is completely replenished, and we're able to get off what would normally be a brutal attack, but in this case we're going to go in and we're going to make sure we go with our Flash Cutter. The amount of damage it pulls off is actually on the borderline ridiculous side. Again, working hand in hand with this, I'd definitely say something like Keshta the Undying would be a great phantom to use as your passive, as stamina recovery is always very useful in these type of builds, or if you're going more on the side of damage, then why not try out Conrad the Swift. Perfect dodges will now be decreased in stamina consumption, and as well as that, whenever you start stacking it up, you're going to get a lot of extra damage that can really help you to put towards that flash cutter, or just taking them down with your Howling Blade. Now over to, in my opinion, the absolute daddy of armor sets in the entire game, and that's going to be the Bloodthirsty Fiend. This thing is borderline ridiculous, kind of broken and overpowered, but a lot of fun to play with. When you start stacking the pieces up, you're going to get swift attack damage, which is great because you'll be doing a whole bunch of swift attacks with this. Swift attack spirit accumulation. For your 4-piece, you're going to get enemy exhausted and attack, as well as a little bit of health recovery by 2%, but the main thing you're going to be after is the 6-piece, which is going to give you the skill Gal Doom. Now when you start getting your epic and above weapon and armor pieces, on the dual wield you're going to get a great one straight away because you can learn Phantom Bloody Sword Dance. This spirit skill is exceptional as it enhances the effect of the Phantom Sword Dance, and now not only activates when you're using your Whirlwind or Howling Blade, but also activates when you're using your standard attacks such as your light attacks. It also boosts your damage whenever you're using your brutal attack because you're going to get another hit off, but the main thing is with those light attacks it works out pretty crazy when you're using it alongside Gal Doom. The headpiece is going to give you Brink Guard regeneration on your health, so if you start to stack those up you get a little bit of health replenishment going on. The chest piece is going to give you 5% swift attack damage increase once more. The arms are going to give you extra spirit accumulation increase. The legs are going to give you a little bit more swift attack damage, and finally the boots are going to give you even more spirit accumulation. One thing to note about this set, even though it is off the charts for being good, it can be very hard to put together if you haven't got a lot of attribute points, because you're definitely going to need to spec into a lot of vitality or a mixture of that and strength in order to bring down its agility rating, because it is the heaviest armor on plate. But for very endgame gear or for going into your new game plus, you cannot do much better than this, as it just absolutely devastates everything in its path. As normal, you're just going to go into your attacks, whatever you choose. I tend to find that Whirlwind worked best with this overall. And of course, remember, Phantom Bloody Sword Dance is going to be a staple, as per usual. But with this time, we're going to go into that, then we're going to go into Gal Doom, which now means we hit like an absolute truck. This gives you so much damage, it's kind of ridiculous to see when you're used to playing more tactical, as you could take out some of the toughest enemies and toughest bosses very quickly indeed like this, whenever you manage to get an open opportunity. Keep going in with your light attacks is going to be the way forward, as it's going to do an absolute abundance of damage, but if you want to switch it up from time to time and then go into your Whirlwind, that can also work out absolutely amazing. Now I'm going to jump into a boss fight once more and show you kind of what's going on with this set. I'm not going to be playing the best because I wanted to show you a little bit of the health regeneration going on, but we're going to pick Scalpel, which I generally find is a little bit of a pain to tackle, especially because of his second phase. With this set on though, it actually allows a little bit of lenience. You can pick and choose your moments, make sure you activate that Gal Doom, make sure you've got at least 6 spirits on you so that you can activate your Phantom Sword Dance, as that's going to be enhanced once more again as we saw earlier, and then just go to town and tackle those bosses. You're going to see me making a few mistakes in here, pretty much because I want to show you exactly how good the health regen can be, but remember it only kicks in when you've actually taken a bit of damage, so you can't use it constantly, as otherwise this set would be even more broken. But just looking in the background you can see how much damage this actually does with its light attacks when you start using all of your spirit skills together, but the main thing you want to focus on with this set is definitely also going to be your stamina. Stamina is a massive thing with this set, because if you can't land those hits you're going to be absolutely awful, so try to make sure you've got an abundance of that in order to take down your enemies fast. You're going to want to chain together pretty much as many light attacks as possible whenever you've used that Gal Doom, and of course your Phantom Bloody Sword Dance, and then just go in, hit your enemies, and even if you do make a little mistake and get a few knocks about you, most of the time the actual extra damage you'll be dishing out is generally enough to take them down. If it's not, you will have to play a bit tactically, make sure you get a counter attack off, then go into all of your specials in order to tackle them, do some huge damage and take advantage of whenever they've got a bit of downtime. But overall this set is the craziest I've seen in the game for damage, and can decimate some of the toughest enemies and bosses, especially if you start re-rolling your attributes to give yourself a lot of extra damage on your gear. Right, they're pretty much my top 3 picks for those armor and weapon sets that you're going to be looking out for. But one thing you can also do, don't forget, you can always go over to Danjin, make sure you pick up over 44 of your Jarlins, and then you'll be able to equip yourself a Jarhead that you can purchase from him from the shop. Two ones that you'll definitely want to look into would be the most special jar, if you do need a little bit of extra strength. Remember, you're trying to get the weight down, so this might be one you want to look at. Or even better than that, if you have got enough stats, probably the ideal one would be your bewildered jar, as then you're going to get a lot of extra willpower, giving you a bit more extra damage. But yeah, hopefully that's helped a few of you guys and girls out working out which armor set you want to be playing with. All of these are absolutely amazing, with the third one being a little bit on the broken side, but hopefully this comes in handy for you. As always, for All Things Gaming, take care. I'll see you on the next day.